This one says do OOP stuff, basically. The application needs to manage customer records. A second-year student provided the following UML class diagram as part of the solution. Identify one design and a pattern in the above design and explain why you think it is a problem. So again, go and read that document and figure that one out. But anyway, I'll just give you the answer here. It is the gold objects and the pattern, right? Where a class is burdened with more than one responsibility. For instance, this one is a list. It is responsible for serializing the stuff to XML. And at the same time, it is a customer. So there are three responsibilities I can identify in this class all at once. And remember, these are the same responsibilities that you guys will always be dealing with. The entities, is it a list? Does it read or write from a file? And that's it. So those are the basic things we always do in these UML class diagrams. We've never done anything beyond those basic requirements. So if you have to draw a corrected version of this UML class diagram, already looking at this, you guys can actually see the classes. Customer becomes a class. Your container or your list becomes a class. Your write to XML thing, it becomes a class. Something that writes to XML becomes a class. Then you've got your client. So again, following the same reasoning, I can now say I've got a class called customer, I've got a class called customer, and customer here, I've got my list here, customer list, which is responsible for, which is my container, which inherits from a queue list of type customer, right? And now I've got something that is responsible for writing to a file. I'm gonna call this maybe file writer. My file writer receives or uses instances of customers to create those customers, right? To write those customers. So it has to go through every customer and write every customer to a file. That's my diagram. Then if I want to include my client, then I can put my client here. And my client is going to, obviously, inside my dialog, I'm going to have a customer list. I'm going to have a file writer under private in your dialog, like the same thing we've always done in our assignments. So I'll then say this becomes an aggregation relationship between that guy and that guy. And you could stop there if you want. If you also want, you could, yeah, I'll stop there. So basically that is what your diagram would look like. And then you can include all your functions and all your, basically the same functions that you see here. You can just reproduce them and put them where they belong. So I'll have my other functions there. I've got my write to XML function here, write to XML function, which receives maybe a customer instance or a list of customers, whatever. And in customer lists, I've got obviously your, I don't need the get list now because it's a queue list. I'll leave that one empty. And then in your client, you have under private, your customer list and your file writer. Those are the two things that would then come here under private here. So here I would have my customer list, which is of type customer list. And I would have my file writer, which is of type file writer. That's what I have under private. And then under public, you can then have your any other functions you want under customer, under in your client, or just leave it empty, doesn't matter. Here's your constructor, client, and so on. So cool, that's how you do these UML class diagrams. It takes a little bit of practice, but I think once you've done a few questions on this, you get used to the thinking like, oh, that's how things go. Okay, that's how things go. So then go and do more questions on this and practice as much as you can on creating these UML class diagrams. I've given you guys a lot of memos on your portal. So if you go, there's under course resources, there's a folder called memos with a lot of questions and solutions there. So you're gonna just go and practice and look at some of the answers. If what you're doing is not there, you can obviously keep in touch over email and I can try and help you out or create more solutions and upload there. That will help you out answer these questions.